State Representative Harry Benton from Plainfield. He's out there running it in the western suburbs. Good morning, Representative, and welcome to Choose Views.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on. And as somebody who works with Cam is a big boy doing big work.
Thank you, Representative Benton. I was like, wait a minute, I can't be calling a grown man a boy. And so I know that there's a little bit of jostling and fun in that. However, I appreciate the fact that you kind of helped me clean that up on aisle 7. Representative, thank you for being with us this morning, and kudos to the number of bills just this year alone that you have put out there, and you are doing big work as well. You're out in Plainfield in your district fighting the good fight, just like Representative Buckner have been doing. So my questions are really centered around what are some of your biggest headaches right now? What are the things that just, frankly tick you off about not getting done, not getting leaned into, not getting talked about, Representative Benton? What are those items?
I mean, there are some things that I've been ticked about that haven't been talked about that are starting to be talked about now. I'm a union guy, and my union brothers and sisters are out there fighting to make sure that they're getting collective bargaining agreements. They're making work better for people. And I want to do a shout out too from one of my constituents in Plainfield. JJ with the bricklayers is out there on a picket line in Elk Grove Village fighting to make sure that people have better conditions and better wages. So shout out to the bricklayers and JJ. But we have to start fighting to make sure that we're getting our fair share. We have an administration at the top that's trying to cut Medicaid, trying to cut educational funding, trying to cut the Social Security. All he's trying to do is pull back the money that we're already underfunded. We're a payer state.
Yeah.
We're lucky if we get about 81 cents back on a dollar. So it's going to be even harder with trying to get money out to the most vulnerable people.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No. You said another. You got it.
Yeah. One of the other issues that I think is one of the top, there's two major issues that we need to be talking about more, and that's early childhood, early intervention, and child care. We need providers. We need people that are going through the programs and getting out there, and we need to expand the ECACE grant for early childhood to get these new educators out. Anybody that has kids in child care right now knows, and I have 2 of them, that it is a second mortgage for child care. And we don't have access. It's expensive, and we need good quality programs. But we need access for so many more people. And the other thing is we need to have some serious energy conversations.
Yes. So, all right. One of the things, and I want to circle back to something that you said earlier about quality health care and making sure that that's a big part of your legislative agenda, is making sure that our citizens, irrespective of their political stripe, irrespective of that, I don't want to see a person sick and not having access that's a stern Republican any more than I want to see that for any of my Democratic colleagues, friends, and family. And I know you take the same position on why that's important to this state and for the state's safety to have health care, not just on a state level, but on a federal level that works for everybody.
Yeah, and the ones that are the most vulnerable, we send so much money in support to the southern region of Illinois, who are typically a little bit more Republican-leaning, or the Eastern Bloc, the people that vote for Mary Miller and Chris Miller. They're struggling. They need help with their costs. I got elected as a Democrat, but I don't care who you are. I want to make sure that your prescription drugs are affordable and you're not rationing your insulin to put food on the table, or you're not going without a meal so you can buy your insulin or whatever prescription drug that is. Trying to work with insurance companies to drive down some of those costs for consumers. That's one of the reasons why I hopped on the insurance committee, and I'm also the vice chair of prescription drug affordability. sit on labor. I sit on public utilities because the energy space, that's another thing. We're trying to make it affordable for consumers with these crazy energy demands, with more and more data centers coming up, with more and more electric vehicles. We need to start having some real conversations because we're on track in the PJM region, which is this northern region, on being an energy importer when we've always been an energy exporter.
Gosh, that's got to drive you nuts because of the fact that we have such an opportunity to stand tall in that space of being an exporter. One of the things I wanted to circle back to, and I want to give a couple of quick shout-outs to colleagues of yours indirectly, and that would be Cook County Commissioner Preckwinkle. She talked in depth, and we had her on a couple weeks ago, about the importance of Illinois maintaining its prowess in the energy space. And another person I want to give a shout-out again, another one of your peripheral colleagues, is Comptroller Mendoza. She talked about how important it is that people understand how much money we, as the state of Illinois, send to other states, or not other states, but in terms of the dollar exchange with regard to our federal contributions in terms of what we get versus what we get back. So shout out to both of them because I know that you probably had conversations with them both directly and indirectly about the importance of our sustainability in those two areas.
Yeah. When it drives me nuts when Republicans from other states talk about Illinois balancing a budget or Illinois with pension deficits or any of that. Well, that's real easy when you're getting $1 for dollar back, or you're getting $1.15 for every dollar back, and we're getting 81 cents. It's a lot easier to balance your budget when you don't have somebody in your back pocket taking money out because they don't know how to run their state the right way. I don't want like making it a Democrat or a Republican thing, but I truly believe that Republicans will tell you one thing and do another, and Democrats will just get to work.
Yeah, and that's listen, one of the things, Representative Benton, that I have been so impressed by what you guys are doing is you are not yielding here in Illinois space. And it starts at the top. Governor Pritzker, and I'm of this mindset, Representative Benton, y'all don't have to get along on everything. It's just not going to happen. I look at a family. If you, me, Representative of Buckner, and 5 other folks are brothers and sisters, we ain't going to get along all the time. We aren't going to agree on everything that comes our way because we're all built similarly, but a little bit differently. But I love the fact that Governor Pritzker has set a tone for the state that says that Illinois is going to fight this federal carnage from the 34 times convicted felon and all of his minion with tooth and nail. And you and Representative Buckner and so many others are unyielding in that space. And I have to say that because it's what I believe in. And at the same time, I'm encouraging so many people to get involved to help you. So what are some of the things that you take from the governor's leadership when it comes to don't mess with Illinois?
Well, listen, I'm a union iron worker, and we don't take much crap from anyone. We just don't. And
you like how I set that up, right?
Yeah, it's just who I am. Listen, not everybody's going to love me down in Springfield. All right, I'm okay with that because I'm fighting for my district, and I'm fighting for the state. Not everybody's going to love me in the federal government. That's fine. I'm fighting for my district. I'm fighting for the state. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we have to put personal feelings aside because, we always say in construction, leave your feelings in the truck. We got a job to do.
Right on,
and that's the truth. But when we have to fight
in the
back,
trunk of the car.
Yeah. We got to fight back. We've got a current administration. There's a Republican representative, congressman, that filed to repeal OSHA.
Yeah.
The same thing, that a top 5 most dangerous job. They used to bid for lives being lost every other floor, every 5 floors. We're going to the point where we're not seeing the deaths on the job anymore. We got an administration that previously rolled back regulations on asbestos.
Mm.
I mean, it's clear cut that this is pro-corporation, pro-business. They're trying to go after – Rand Paul is going to file another, if he hasn't already filed it, to do a national right to work.
Yeah.
Right to work for less. And I saw the tax plan. So everybody under $360,000 is going to pay more in taxes while the top are paying less. I remember not that long ago, we had some Democratic candidates saying that anybody over $400,000 is going to pay their fair share, and we're going to help out working people.
Right.
We're the economic driver, the middle class. We spend more in the economic consumer space than they do.
Yeah.
We should be supporting our small businesses by supporting our middle class folks. We need a break. And I remember I just paid over $3 a gallon for gas, and eggs aren't that much cheaper. I thought he was going to do that on day one.
Oh boy, here we go. My man, Representative Harry Benton, is speaking from your soul about the truth of what people fell for the okie doke, or did they fall for the okie doke, Representative? Did people they were so against, in your opinion? And again, I'm putting you on the spot, not in a harsh way. Did people get bamboozled? Or were people just, I don't want to see a woman of color in the White House? I mean, tell me what your observation is as best you can. And I know you have to be careful in how you state that.
I don't have to be careful. I'm one of those people that I promise you, I'm always going to do the best. I told my wife, if you ever see me change, I'm out. I'm here to fight for people, and I'm here to give it. I'm honest to a fault. I'm just old, humble Harry from the house. And I'll tell you, people were okie doke. Mm-hmm. This is a known con man that played the con, and he played it with the richest person in the world. And he's out there right now, gutting the FAA and getting startling contracts. He's gutting these agencies for privatization. He is destroying, along with DeJoy, the Postal Service that we rely on. He is cutting jobs. He is the number one job cutter, not creator.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He is hurting working people. And I don't blame people for falling for it, because you know what? We were terrible at our messaging. We were absolutely horrendous at our messaging. We need to go back to what we stand for as Democrats, and that's economic messaging. We need to fight for unions. We need to fight for accessible, affordable, or free health care. Mm-hmm. We need to fight for affordable and accessible housing. There's so much more.
And that's why we're going to have you back. And that's why we're going to have you back, because we know there's so much more. Tuition's a big one. I mean, across the board. And here's where I push all Democratic elected officials on a state level, on a national level, that, a lot of people were bamboozled. But I also have observed from research and data that a lot of people, this is what they wanted, because along with our messaging maybe having been better, our ideas weren't bad. Our ideas have always been great, and we have to be willing to push harder. But at the same time, I do find, Representative, that there are a lot of people that, setting messaging aside for a second, just could not get past the idea that we could put a woman of color in the White House. And I know that part of the bamboozling was to push that narrative.
I think part of that, yes, you're right. I looked at the results, even in Will County, which is a majority of my district is Will County, and I also have part of Kendall County. But we saw that women of color did poorly on the ballot because it mirrored the results of Kamala Harris. But I also have, this is a crazy thing. All of my friends that are union white males that were Bernie bros voted for Trump because they just felt like we didn't have a real election. We just had the next person that was put in. We didn't have a primary. And they said it felt like Bernie all over again. So if we're losing Bernie bros to Donald Trump, who I think is the complete opposite, what are we doing? And again, it really, truly does go back to messaging, because we can't message our wins. Build Back Better, Inflation Reduction Act. We're getting money out. We're working on infrastructure that we haven't touched since 1935.
Yeah,
we are trying to drive down inflation.
A lot of that's coming from the fact that you're getting such opposition from the right, and candidly, the messaging is oftentimes controlled by a media, has been, and that's evidence that has not still talked about the fact that the Republicans don't have any solutions. They have sound bites, they have flames to throw, but for the union, your union brothers and my union brothers, the message was there. It's just that the message wasn't positioned in the right way. And that's where I think a lot of people kind of part in terms of the conversation about it. But at the end of the day, one of the things that I think that people have to take from what you're saying is you guys here in Illinois are fighting extraordinarily hard, whether it be you or Representative Cam Buckner and all the rest, to make sure that the state is, and I like the way you put this, I don't care what they say about me in Washington. What I care about is my district and my state. And that's, we need to hear more of that from our locally elected officials so that people know, back to your point about messaging, that Dems are fighting daily and they are sleeves rolled up and elbows deep in this fight. So that's, that has to be repeated in terms of what you said earlier.
Hey, if we're rolling up our sleeves and we're throwing on the gloves, I really want Cam Buckner in my corner.
Yeah.
That's right. Well,
he's the guy you want to take in a fight.
Yeah, I hear you. Representative Harry Benton, we so appreciate you being with us, and we know that you are in the fight. We appreciate what you're doing, and I want to ask you to let folks know how they can follow you, how they can find you, and how they can get involved in the work that you're doing.
Yeah, all over social media. You can find me. It's not hard. Go to Google. You can go to my website, representativeharrybenton.com. You can reach out to me at info@repharrybenton.com. My phone number, real easy to remember, 815-254-0000. Call anytime.
Absolutely.
We're all in this together, and the best thing that anybody can do, be a champion of your cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
Be a champion of your block. Go out, talk to your neighbors. So many people don't want to talk about politics and tell their friends, their family, their neighbors how they feel. Tell them how you feel. Tell them how it's affecting your life, because people need to know what's going on. If you're struggling with the cost of living, or you're struggling with the cost of your medications or tuition, anything, if it directly affects you and your friend doesn't know about it and they vote against you all the time, you need to have that conversation. Yeah. And that's how we can truly change the narrative.
That is a brilliant, brilliant closing to today's show. And you're going to be back. I won't even ask you, like I said to Representative Buck, you're going to be back, because I want to talk some more about some of the things that you were leaning into. Our listeners across the country need to hear it from a good old state of Illinois and Representative Harry Benton. Thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having me on.
All right. Have a great weekend and stay safe.
You too.
Bye now.